Hey, how's it going everyone? This is YLM here. In today's video, I want to cover the Nikon Z6 Z7 Mark II announcement. This is something that really is very interesting because it was an incremental release, but I figured I'd talk about my thoughts on it and give you one interesting thought that I've kind of already noticed when I was reading through it. This is something that I'm just not going to cover in detail because press releases get leaked early and there's plenty of other good YouTubers that can cover this better than I can, but I will cover one interesting aspect when I was reading through this, which is the dual XP6 processor. So parallel processing is one of those things where pretty much every company really needs to get good at, because that's how we're seeing dramatic improvements in our PCs. So it's definitely something that needs to be translated into the camera systems. Being able to parallel process multiple things all at once is something that's going to dramatically innovate how cameras work. But largely everything else is unexciting. You can go ahead and just read through the charts. What I want to talk about instead is how Nikon is kind of following through with its normal business cycle or normal business model, which we've seen over and over again. So just to give you a little bit of background about Nikon, what they like to do is they like to do one major release with a lot of innovation, and then they would like to do an incremental release. So basically, they do a big change, they get feedback, and then they tweak a few things and sell that camera system. They've been doing that for a very long time now. At the time, I was dreaming about owning a Nikon D3, which was a very expensive camera that I really couldn't justify buying or owning. And then when the D3S came around, I drooled about that one. And then we moved to the D4 and the D4S and so forth and so on. So this is a business model that they've been doing for a very long time. And if this was 2019, I would say they are operating as normal, and they should be, because it's been a proven good business model. But we're not in 2019. We're in 2020, where COVID did happen. The economies for pretty much all countries are wrecked. Supply chains are crazy and all over the place. There's a specific authoritarian country that's been doing a lot of bad things, and we know about it now, but I really can't talk about it because I would get censored on YouTube, so I'm very careful about approaching that subject. But a lot has changed in 2020, and it's something that we've already seen resonate throughout the entire camera industry, but we're not seeing any changes for how Nikon operates. Now, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you can definitely tell that Canon, the market leader, has changed their business models. What they did with the R5, the R6, and the up-and-coming C70, they're showing you that they're changing things around. They're lowering their price points. If you look at the R5 and R6, they're definitely imperfect cameras, but you can see the underlying technology in those camera systems once they solve the overheating problems. There's some really good solid technology there. The R5, very well priced. The R6, probably a little bit overpriced, but still both very usable cameras that, when they actually solve a few minor problems, are going to be real powerhouses, and they're going to be at very competitive prices. When you look at the C70, they're really lowering down what you can get for a professional cinema camera, and they're looking towards the future with some of the feature sets that's actually in that camera system and some of the accessories they have. And this is the problem that I have with the Nikon release, which is they haven't fundamentally gone back, looked at their business model, and whether or not it's actually going to be usable in 2020 with how everything has changed. Because pretty much any of the large companies, they have to go back, they have to reevaluate their business model going forward, because so much is changing right now. And I think every sensible person would understand that we're never going to go back to the norms of 2019. Going forward, there's going to be a whole lot of social and economic changes that are going to be occurring. And there is actually a lot of opportunities for these camera manufacturers, because there are so many more people that are working from home. There are so many people that are actually creating content. There's huge opportunity here, but you really need to actually go back, reevaluate your business model, and seeing if you actually serve that need, because it's going to be fundamentally changing for pretty much all countries across the world. And with this release, I just don't see it. It's just another camera that's a little bit better, which, I mean, for Nikon fans and for Nikon enthusiasts, they're going to like the change. But Whether it's actually going to be worth it to actually incrementally upgrade, that's up to them. But are you going to attract any new customers to the Nikon lineup? I think it's going to be largely they made another very good camera, but there's no real reason why somebody would want to switch over to Nikon, and there's no real reason why somebody coming into the market would see Nikon as a superior product. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I think they are leading the industry in terms of a camera this small that could actually do raw video output, but don't quote me on that. This is definitely a professional grade feature, and I would think that would generate more excitement, but honestly, amongst the community, I really haven't seen too many people really hop on that and talk about that and really use that type of feature. I feel like a lot of the community is very happy with just using any form of log and then just color grading on top of that. But again, I could be wrong. If you are a Nikon enthusiast and you do know a little bit about that, definitely let me know. But when you're in a shrinking camera market, you have to be able to generate some sort of excitement on one key feature, and that's something that I'm really not seeing from Nikon, which is a shame because I really love Nikon as a company. I definitely grew up on it. I'm definitely a fanboy of it, but I still don't see a need to ever actually go back to Nikon at this point. And from my point of view, that's really sad. But those are my opinions on it. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.